Good morning. Welcome to this premium public video discussion for Friday the 13th, 2023, the first Friday the 13th of the new year. If you believe in any of that spooky stuff, I hope you stay safe out there. But for the rest of us, it's just a fun day just to watch a horror movie or something of that nature. Today, we're going to talk about some changes that are on the way for our weather pattern. If you're tired of the mild weather and you're dying for snow and cold weather, I might have some good news for you. If you enjoyed this weather, well, it was fun while it lasted. So right now we have a cold front that is moving through the region and is producing periods of rain throughout the area. Temperatures ranging from the upper 40s to lower 50s over the far northern interior, lower to mid 50s around your urban areas and along the coast. Where we're seeing the heavier rainfall, we're falling back into the upper 40s. Winds are from the south around 5 to 10 miles per hour over the Philadelphia metro, 10 to 20 miles per hour over the New York City metro, and over towards the eastern portions of Long Island. Cold front is on the way. It's currently just to the west of Philadelphia, and behind it we have westerly winds around 10 to 20 miles per hour. That'll be moving through and will be slowly causing temperatures to fall throughout the rest of today. So really our high temperatures are essentially right now, and from here on out we start to gradually cool off. It's nowhere near the type of intense Arctic blast that we saw back in December, but still temperatures will be falling through the day, so prepare accordingly. Here is our surface map and radar from WeatherTap. You can see the colder air is all up here towards the Canadian border and northwestern New York. Meanwhile, for our area, we have periods of rain, some embedded thunderstorms. We even had thunderstorms yesterday evening with our strong winds getting mixed down. We had some reports of hail and some lightning with this wave of showers and thunderstorms. And this cold front will be moving through this morning, putting an end to the majority of the rainfall. And by the time we get to this afternoon, we'll start to see clearing skies. And you can see that pretty nicely here on the visible satellite picture. As the sun begins to rise, we'll refresh this, and you can see the clearing that's starting to take shape here around central Pennsylvania, pushing towards eastern Pennsylvania. So the sun will be making a return for this afternoon after this dreary weather. Now, let's talk about changes in our weather pattern. We are starting to see those changes take place. The first key for us is, especially if you're looking for colder weather, is to see this jet streak break up and start to feature, instead of this fire hose from China all the way into California, now you're starting to see more waves in the jet stream, support for a trough developing around the Aleutians, heights are starting to rise on the west coast, and that is all the start of this process in the troposphere. But there's a lot going on in the stratosphere as well. I'm going to start off first with this feature here. And you can see over the past couple of weeks, we've been getting these pulses. Now we're getting this stronger pulse here that is originating out of Asia and pushing towards the Bering Strait. And this feature right here will start to set up the stratospheric warming event that will continue to stretch the polar vortex. Now what's key, and this is the EP flux we've been talking about, is that this process will only intensify. And you know this because of the length of these vectors, okay? The longer this line gets, the stronger the vector is, the stronger the transport, okay? So when you're seeing these very long lines, that is some very strong transport and a strong signal for disruption of the polar vortex, which allows the colder air that is building in Siberia to cross the poles. We've been talking about this. We talked about this on Wednesday, and today we gather more observations. In fact, here, let me show you this. The key difference for me, and why I'm growing more confident in this evolution, is that the observations are now locking in. This is no longer a forecast 15 days out, 10 days out, 5 days out. It's happening now. So as a result, we gain more confidence of this process developing. And so what you end up with is this warming that is showing up here. Now this is the European guidance showing up the warming. And we get out to about 10 days, and you can see this impressive warming that's taking shape. And this would support a stretching of the polar vortex, which typically supports cold air getting transported from Siberia towards eastern North America. And if we go further and take a look at other models, let's say the GFS, we use the 0Z guidance here. That way we stay the same. You see that same process taking hold over the next 10 days, very similar to the European, but then we roll forward from day 10 to 15, and this is a strong suggestion of a major stratospheric warming event, a major disruption in the polar vortex. On the GFS ensembles guidance, again, we'll stay with 0Z, and again, out to 10 days, very similar to what the European guidance is showing. Okay, so we definitely have support for that stretching of the polar vortex. And then this further supports the idea of a stratospheric warming event, but likely not as strong as what the GFS operational is showing. So what this all means is that the support for, at least in the stratosphere and upper troposphere, for a turn towards colder weather is certainly well supported at this point. And we're seeing that in the operational. And here's the thing to remember, okay? You're going to see a lot of different depictions of how this all evolves because there's so many moving parts, and you still have to deal with the tropical forcing, which is moving into a favorable place. But again, we still have that La Nina component to consider as well, okay? What that means is that the influence of La Nina just doesn't shut off and disappear like this. It gradually goes away. But as it's weakening, this influence from the stratosphere overwhelms that influence. So you have to kind of measure, okay, where do you go in terms of piecing these features together as it all works? And this is why we always talk about volatility, because you're dealing with a lot of different moving parts in this respect. So we see that again on the GFS. It's going in that route, but it's trying to show that influence of La Nina here. The European ensembles shows the same thing as the operational, and then keeps that trough in here. Again, shows that slight influence of La Nina showing up here. So what does this all tell us? It tells us that we're going to have more colder air masses on the way. We're going to have more interaction from polar and Arctic air masses. We're going to have to really keep an eye in February for a major Arctic blast. Considering what's building up in Siberia, you got a nice transport here right from Siberia that's going to go somewhere. So we're going to have to watch that. And we increase the potential. I do not guarantee, but we increase the potential for the threat for major winter storms returning to the northern Mid-Atlantic. So we're turning a tide. We're moving away from this mild pattern, and now we see what produces for us moving forward from late July through, it looks like, much of February. And if this actually verifies as a major stratospheric warming event, then you could also start to include early March, although that's always a bit tenuous. So let's just wait and see how this all evolves in terms of that lifting. Now, in terms as far as our current pattern, there's some talk about snow showers or this storm trying to back in. The NAM tried to pull a nice little trick on us. I think with the 0Z guidance got people a little bit overexcited. But we're still dealing with the same overall pattern in which that this ridge is kicking everything east. So I like the idea for flurries, but steady snowfall, I think you'd have to go out to Cape Cod. Okay. The whole pattern itself is just pushing everything east. So it's very difficult to get that to push to, let's say, Long Island and especially New Jersey coast. But if we're talking about the Gulf of Maine and Cape Cod, far more realistic, I think, to talk about snow showers and accumulating snowfall, but not so much for our neck of the woods, because this whole ridge axis is moving east with us. Okay. So we have a couple other short waves marching their way through. And again, this is all part of the dying pattern that we're getting out of. And then towards the end of the period, we start to get more influence from the polar air masses, and we'll have to watch out what these little short waves do with that cold air. And you can see that progression very nicely here with our temperatures. See, it's mild for the most part, and then we start to get our step down, and now we start feeling that influence, which is about 7 to 10 days after we started to see this whole evolution going on in the stratosphere and working its way down into the influences of the troposphere. So definitely changes are on the way. So let's walk through this forecast. For today, rain will be exiting in the morning, followed by lingering rain and snow showers as the colder air builds in. High temperatures are basically occurring this morning, ranging from the upper 40s to lower 50s over the northern interior, lower to mid 50s along the coast. For tonight into tomorrow morning, look for scattered cloud cover with a few flurries here and there. Low temperatures will range from the lower to mid 20s over the northern interior, upper 20s to mid 30s along the coast. For tomorrow afternoon, look for scattered cloud cover. I can't rule out a few flurries, especially right along the coast with this low pressure system developing. Look for high temperatures in the mid to upper 20s over the northern interior and lower to mid 30s along the coast. Could see a few mid to upper 30s as we get into the urban areas and right on the immediate coast as well. For Sunday, high pressure will be building in, a bit breezy because of our storm developing over the coastal waters, but remaining far enough out to remain dry. Look for low temperatures to range from the mid to upper teens over the northern interior, lower to mid 20s along the coast. High temperatures will range from the mid to upper 30s. On Monday, look for scattered cloud cover with tranquil conditions. Low temperatures will range from the mid to upper 20s over the interior, lower to mid 30s in your suburbs, mid to upper 30s in your urban areas. High temperatures will range from the lower to mid 40s. On Tuesday, an area of low pressure will approach with showers in the afternoon and evening. Look for low temperatures to range from the mid to upper 30s. High temperatures will range from the lower to mid 40s over the interior, mid to upper 40s along the coast. On Wednesday, look for scattered cloud cover with temperatures ranging from the mid to upper 30s over the northern interior, upper 30s to lower 40s along the coast. High temperatures in the lower to mid 40s over the interior, mid to upper 40s along the coast. On Thursday, an area of low pressure will approach with showers developing in the afternoon. We could be looking at some wintry mix over the northern interior in the form of snow, sleet, and freezing rain before it change over to rain. So I want to watch that very carefully on Thursday afternoon for the Poconos and the Catskills for some slick and dangerous driving conditions. Other than that, showers are expected along the coast with low temperatures in the upper 20s to lower 30s and high temperatures in the lower to mid 40s over the northern interior, upper 40s to mid 50s along the coast. The cold front moves through on Thursday night into Friday morning with periods of rain. Again, we'll have to watch to see how that transition to ice will unfold, but eventually everyone does go over to rain. Low temperatures on Friday will range from the mid to upper 30s over the interior, upper 30s to lower 40s along the coast. And then high temperatures on Friday behind the cold front with a strong westerly wind will range from the lower to mid 40s over the interior, upper 40s to lower 50s along the coast. That looks like it's going to be more in the late morning hours, and then temperatures fall off into the 30s thereafter. And then we look and see what we are going to be dealing with for our next weather pattern. Could be interesting, certainly colder, plenty of potential, so we'll see how it works out. That is your forecast discussion for today. Have a wonderful weekend, and as always, stay safe out there.